regulators. Now I will complete the remaining one, that is PGRs. Plant growth regulators, PGRs. Development include both growth and differentiation. Development in a plant include both growth and differentiation. The development in plant is influenced by several factors, right? All the factors are broadly divided into two types, namely intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Are divided into two types, intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Intrinsic factors are nothing but internal factors. They are divided into two types, namely intracellular intrinsic factors and intercellular intrinsic factors. Intracellular intrinsic factors and intercellular intrinsic factors, right? Intracellular intrinsic factors are genetic factors, whereas intercellular intrinsic factors are chemical substances. Chemical substances. The chemical substances are nothing but plant growth regulators, that is PGRs. Plant growth regulators, that is PGRs. Right. The external or extrinsic factors are nothing but environmental factors. They include light, temperature, oxygen, etc. All these comes under extrinsic factors. These are intrinsic factors. Development in plant is influenced by several factors. All the factors are divided into two types, intrinsic factors, extrinsic factors. The intrinsic factors are divided into two types, intracellular, within the cell, intercellular, in between the cells, and genetic factors are comes under intracellular factors. Chemical substances such as PGRs comes under intercellular factors. Extrinsic factors include light, temperature, and oxygen. So this is very important as per NEET exam is concerned. Next, PGRs, remember, there are 5 types of plant growth regulators or plant hormones. All are discovered accidentally. And these PGRs are divided into two types, namely growth promoting hormones or substances and growth inhibitors or growth inhibiting substances. PGRs are divided into two types, growth promoters, growth inhibitors. Promoting substances are auxins, gibberellins, and cytokinins. Inhibiting substances are abscisic acid and also ethylene. But here important point is, ethylene is also show growth promoting substances. That means this hormone is having both promoting activities and inhibiting activities. Then why it is placed under growth inhibitors? Because it show more inhibiting properties when compared to promoting properties. That is the reason why. Right. First, Among these, what you have to know is, first, the chemical nature of these compounds. Auxins are chemically indole compounds. Auxins are chemically indole compounds. Second, gibberellins are discovered in Japan in connection with Buchanay disease or foolish seedling disease caused by a fungus called Gibberella fusicori. And these gibberellins are chemically terpenoids or terpenes. Then cytokinins are chemically adenine derivatives. Adenine derivatives. Cytokinins are derivatives of adenine. Adenine is a nitrogen base, a part of nucleotide. And ABA is a derivative of carotenoid pigments. And ethylene is a gaseous phytohormone. I repeat, these are important points. Auxins are indole compounds. Gibberellins are chemically terpenoids. Cytokinins are derivatives of adenine. ABA, derivatives of carotenoid pigments. Ethylene is a gaseous phytohormone. Now, we will discuss about discovery. First discovered phytohormone, auxin. Auxin was first isolated from human urine. The bioassay test for auxins is Avena curvature test. Very important. So many times asked in NEET examination, which of the following is the bioassay test for auxins? Avena curvature test. And auxins were first isolated by F.W. Wendt from oat coleoptiles. Avena sativa, botanical name of oat. From the coleoptiles of this plant, F.W. Wendt first discovered auxin. And gibberellins first discovered in Japan, I told you, in connection with Buchanay disease or foolish seedling disease. Sawada for the first time said that Sawada, Ebuta, Sumiki, all these are scientists related to discovery of gibberellins. Sawada said that when the infected plant material is extracted from the infected leaves and applied to the healthy leaves, on the healthy leaves also symptoms appear. And more than 100 gibberellins have been identified so far. All are named them as gibberellic acid 1, gibberellic acid 2, 3, 4 like that. But the first discovered gibberellic acid is GA3. GA3. All are acidic in nature. Then cytokinins, the first discovered cytokinin is kinetin from the DNA of the sperm of herring sperm DNA. Kinetin. Cytokinin was isolated from herring sperm DNA. A fish, herring is a fish, from the DNA present in the sperm. It was isolated, that is kinetin, chemically called 6-perfluoryl aminopurine. Later, Skoog and Miller, first natural cytokinin was isolated from corn milk and coconut milk. That is geatin, geamase, that is extracted from, as it is extracted from geatin, geamase, it is called geatin. First natural cytokinin to be discovered, geatin. First cytokinin to be discovered, kinetin. And ABA was discovered by various scientists with various names like inhibitor B, abscission 2, and Darmin. Different scientists has given different names. Later, the scientists were analyzed that all these are chemically found to be the same, and those three names are replaced and given one name called ABA. And ethylene, a scientist called Cousins is related to discovery of ethylene. Cousins related to discovery of ethylene. Right. Then the important point which you have to remember is the physiological effects of each and every phytohormone. You have to understand and you have to remember. That is the important point. So I will tell you a few important physiological effects. Try to focus on that. Which phytohormone is called stress hormone and why? ABA is called stress hormone because during stress conditions such as water stress, in the guard cell, ABA accumulate and causes the closing of stomata. Thereby, the rate of transpiration decreases. That is the reason why it is also called anti-transparent. ABA act as a anti-transparent. Then, which hormone is fruit ripening hormone? Ethylene. Ethylene is a fruit ripening hormone. Next. Which hormone induces cell division? Cell division inducing hormone. Cytokinins. Cytos, cell, kinin division, the name itself. Then, which hormone, when applied on sugarcane crop, the internodes become elongated. As a result, the yielding of the crop has been increased tremendously by 20 tons per acre. Which hormone? That is gibberellins. And similarly, these questions appear, the synergetic effect and the cumulative effect, all these. Which two hormones in most of the physiological effects are opposite or antagonistic? Gibberellins and ABA, very important bit. As far as many effects are concerned, these two hormones are antagonistic, opposite. Similarly, regarding apical dominance, which two hormones are opposite? Auxins and cytokinins. Auxins promote apical dominance, cytokinins control apical dominance. Like that, you should understand the antagonistic effect of these two. And similarly, which hormone helps in tea plantation and hedge making? You know, hedge making and tea plantation. Apical dominance is promoted by auxin. That can be removed by decapitation. As a result, apical growth stopped and lateral growth increases. This is caused by auxins, and this phenomena is employed in tea making, tea plantations, and also it is used in hedge making, right? And then, which hormone responsible for formation of sprouts in potato tubers? That is ethylene. And which two hormones, when applied on pineapples, the yielding of pineapple is increased at very high rate? This question was asked in the last year NEET exam. That is auxins and ethylene. When auxins and ethylene are applied to pineapple, the yielding has been tremendously increased, right? Then, similarly, which hormone application in the field level is difficult, ethylene, because it is a gaseous phytohormone. It is a gaseous phytohormone. It is very difficult to apply in the field. Therefore, it is changed and it is used in that form. That is ethifone. Ethylene releasing substance is known as ethifone. Right. And similarly, which hormone is called as a rooting hormone? Particularly in horticulture, during vegetative propagation, this hormone is applied so that the roots are immediately produced from the stem cuttings. And this hormone is nothing but auxin. Which hormones delay senescence? Synergistic effect. Two hormones delay the senescence. One is cytokinin, second one is gibberellin. Cytokinins and gibberellins delay the process of senescence. The ability of cytokinin to delay the process of senescence is called as Richmond-Long effect. What is Richmond-Long effect? Ability of cytokinin to delay the process of senescence is called as Richmond-Long effect. Which hormone increases the malting process of barley? Gibberellins. Malting, speed up the malting process in barley by the application of gibberellins. Like that, you have to read, for example, horizontal growth promoted by ethylene, respiratory climacteric ethylene, thinning of cherry, walnut, etc. That is, abscission is caused in this is due to ethylene. Flowering in mango, ethylene. Seed germination in peanuts, ethylene. Root hair formation, ethylene. Swollen axis, ethylene. Apical hook formation, ethylene. Like that, all you should understand and memorize, then only you can answer the questions. So that is about the hormones and their physiological effects. Then three more concepts are there. One, photoperiodism. The influence of photoperiod, that is light period, for flowering in plants is called. You know very well that what is photoperiod. The influence of photoperiod or light period on plants for flowering is called photoperiod. For flowering in any plant, light is important. Most of the plants, for flowering, light period is required. Not only light period, equally dark period is also important. That means light period and dark period are equally important for flowering in plants. This influence of photoperiod on flowering in plants is called photoperiodism. This was first discovered by Garner and Allard in Maryland mammoth variety of tobacco. Right. Some plants require more photoperiod, some plants require less photoperiod for flowering. Based on the photoperiod requirement, in compared with the critical day length, the plants are divided into three types, namely long day plants, short day plants, and day neutral plants. Long day plants, the plants which required photoperiod greater than the critical day length, That is about 10 to 14 hours light period. Then only they can flower. Example, wheat, oat, sugar beet, etc. are example for long day plants. The plants which require photo period less than the critical day length are called as short day plants. And they include rice, chrysanthemum, tobacco, etc. are example for short day plants, also called long night plants. And some plants flower irrespective of the photo period. They won't depend on the photo period, and they are called as day neutral plants, like tomato, pisum, cucumber, sunflower are example for day neutral plants. And finally, you should remember one point. For example, here flower is going to appear after a few days later. The light period, light receiving or perceiving part is not that part, and it is the leaf. Very important. Light perceiving part is the leaf. As a result, in the leaf, a hypothetical hormone called florigen is synthesized. Florigen is synthesized. And this florigen is supposed to synthesize in the leaves when light falls. And this florigen moves from leaves into the place where flower is produced. That is very important. And next one is vernalization. For flowering in plants, not only photo period, but also quantitatively or qualitatively low temperature also required. And this low temperature treatment on flowering in plants is called vernalization. What is meant by vernalization? I am telling that for flowering, not only photo period, but also cold temperature or low temperature is required. The influence of cold temperature or low temperature on flowering in plants is called as vernalization. The term vernalization was first coined by Russian scientist, botanist Lysenko. Lysenko. Okay? Right. Therefore, for flowering, annuals, biennials, and also perennials require low temperature treatment. In case of biennials, 2 years they will survive. Second year they produce flower. At the end of first year, when it enter into the second year, it requires cold treatment for flowering, or otherwise the flowering period can be delayed, like that. Similarly, there are two varieties of plants, varieties in plants like crops like wheat, rye, etc. Like spring varieties and winter varieties. Spring varieties and winter varieties. Spring varieties are sown in the spring season. They flower in the same season. They produce fruits in the same season. They are harvested in the same season. But winter varieties are not sown in the spring. They are sown in the autumn season. They grow very well and produce flowers in the spring season, and they are harvested in the midsummer. That means any variety, if you want to grow in the crop, you must see that in which month it produces flowers. In that month, is it low temperature is available or not? Depending on that, the crop has been raised in that particular area. So that is also very important for plants, both light and low temperature. And last one is seed germination. Sorry, seed dormancy. Seed dormancy. Seed dormancy. The inability of the seed to germinate, even under favorable external conditions, is called seed dormancy. I think understand. Seed dormancy is due to unfavorable internal conditions, but favorable conditions, external conditions are favorable. Now, this seed dormancy may be caused due to impermeable and hard seed coat. Second one, immature embryo in the seed. Third one, because of accumulation of certain chemical inhibitors like ABA, phenolic acids, and para-ascorbic acid, phenolic acid, ABA act as chemical inhibitors and causes dormancy. Okay, and hard seed coat can be removed by artificial methods or man-made methods. Artificially, that means man-made methods such as shaking of the seeds. Second one, by using sandpapers or by using knives, we can rupture the seeds so that they can easily germinate. And in case of natural action, these problems can be overcome by microbial action, or also suppose the birds eat those seeds, these seeds are smoothened inside the digestive tract because of the action of enzymes. Like this, these are the natural measures to remove this dormancy, and there are some man-made measures to remove the dormancy, whether it is caused due to the chemical inhibitors or due to impermeable seed coat. So that is about seed dormancy. So remember these concepts: photoperiodism, vernalization, and seed dormancy. That is about plant growth regulators. And tomorrow we go with the next one. Thank you one and all. That's all.